Good evening and welcome to Whispers. Tonight, we're embarking on a tale from Korea, a story that oscillates between reality and magic, between the madness of destiny and the whim of chance. Our story follows Nitonon, a simple young man who through a series of events finds himself rich, then poor, then richer than ever. It all starts with a simple ginseng root, an arranged marriage, and a descent into the world of gambling and pleasure, until a mysterious gift changes his destiny forever. This tale is a fable about greed, luck, and the consequences of our choices. What happens when a man becomes too rich, too powerful, too generous? In a kingdom where opulence and benevolence are sometimes perceived as threats, he learns the hard way that fortune is never completely secure, and that those who shine too brightly inevitably attract the jealousy of the powerful. So make yourself comfortable and let yourself be carried away by this story where destiny plays with men, where palaces can disappear into the heavens, and where wisdom sometimes comes after much, much confusion. Let's dive in to the Marsh of Violets. The Marsh of Violets. There was a judge in Seoul named Cho Dewey. One day, as he was going through the streets, he noticed a young man named Nitonon shouting, "Tordy roots, 2 cents for 1 pack." The judge, having examined the root, immediately understood that the young man was not in fact selling vulgar tordy roots, but that they were very precious gentian roots. "I will buy the basket from you," said the judge. "Take it to my house." Nitonon took his entire basket to the judge's house, and since it contained 100 packages, he received 100 times 2 cents. The judge kept him at dinner and dismissed him with these words: "If it is possible for you to get any more of these roots, bring them to me. I will buy all that you have." "It is easy for me to please you," replied Nitonon. "We have neither sown nor planted this vegetable, and it has invaded our garden." "I withhold the entire crop," said the judge. And so Nitonon, for an entire month, stripped his garden, and the judge was able to fill all his warehouses. When he sold the roots, he earned 3 million lians. He asked Nitonon, "Who are the people in your family?" "It is just my mother and I," replied Nitonon. "If the offer pleases you," said the judge, "I give you my daughter in marriage." To this, Nitonon replied, "You see me ready to accept. Give me your daughter." Nitonon came to settle at the judge's house with his mother, and the wedding was celebrated. But the new husband was very simple, and his young wife was irritated. "Young people of your age," she said, Play jacks or cards and have fun outside. You just stay home all the time like a bag." The father-in-law added, "Your wife is right. You should have fun. Here's 100 lians." And so Nitonon went to the city, walked around, and came back, having spent 4 cents for 2 cups of millet that he had enjoyed. His wife was sorry to have a husband who could not spend more than 4 cents. But Nitonon gradually learned. He learned how to waste 1,000 lians in one evening. Then his father-in-law said to him, "You have already spent 100,000 lians. We need more money. Go to China. There you can buy some silk, and here we will make a good speculation with it." And so he gave him 1,000,000 lians for the purchases. Nitonon took the large sum, left for China, and gave it to the first dancer he met. Then he returned home empty-handed. "What did you do, my son?" asked his father-in-law. "I gave the money to a dancer," he replied. "But if you give me another 1,000,000 lians, I will buy silk." The father-in-law handed them over to him. And so Nitonon went to China. He saw the same dancer again and was as lavish with her as he had been on his first visit. When he returned home, he said, "I have again given everything to a dancer. But if you entrust me with another 1,000,000 lians, then I will buy silk." The judge had nothing left. He secretly took 1,000,000 lians from the state treasury and brought it to his son-in-law. Nitonon left and gave all the money to the same girl once again. "Farewell," Nitonon said to her as he was leaving her. "We will not meet again." "You have given me such sumptuous gifts," replied the dancer, "that I would like to give you something to remember me by." She showed him her treasures piled up in a chest and said, "Choose." In one corner of the chest was a fist-sized blue stone with 3 small equal holes and a 4th larger than the others. "Give me that stone," asked Nitonon. "Oh," replied the dancer, "you have chosen the most precious thing I have. Read this inscription on the stone. You only have to say this word, 'Tinan,' to make everything you want happen." Nitonon thanked the dancer, took the stone, and returned home. When he was near his house, he met a merry company of men and dancers who invited him to join them. Nitonon, to thank them, knocked on the stone, and from the stone came out a girl named Tinan. Ni expressed this desire. "I want, in this place, to rise a palace where there is a magnificent sense of hospitality." Tinan entered the stone, and 3 old men holding pumpkins came out. One of the old men struck his pumpkin, and a magnificent palace rose up. The second one also struck his pumpkin, and rich furniture, and a crowd of servants appeared. Finally, the third man struck his pumpkin, and all sorts of good things appeared. The feast began. It lasted for 3 days, until one of Nitonon's friends passing by said to him, "Your father-in-law is in prison because of you. He borrowed 1,000,000 lians from the state treasury without paying it back. Now, he already owes 3,000,000 lians with interest." So Nitonon left the feast. He ordered Tinan to take everything back and went to Seoul. At home, he found his wife ragged and hungry. The house, which was no longer being repaired, was falling apart. "Did you bring back any silk?" asked his wife. "I didn't bring anything. I gave the money to a dancer." "Oh," lamented the wife, "my poor father will die in prison." To this, Nitonon replied, "You shouldn't have taught me to waste money." After that, he went to the prison where his father-in-law was locked up. "Did you buy silk?" asked the old man. "No," replied Nitonon. "I gave the money to a dancer. Your house has collapsed, and we have nothing to eat. But tell me, how much money do you need to raise to pay for your debt?" When his father-in-law told him the sum, he asked Tinan for it and paid for all the debts. After this, the old man was released. In the place of their house, with the help of Tinan, a palace was built, where every day they distributed money and bread to the poor. But the rumor spread in the city that Nitonon and his father-in-law must have robbed someone. Otherwise, where would they get their wealth? This rumor went far and wide and even reached the ears of the king. "Nitonon may not have robbed anyone," said the prime minister to the king. "But a man who is so rich and moreover gives gold to the poor is a dangerous man for the kingdom, and he must be destroyed." The king did not contradict his minister and sent the guard to put Nitonon, his wife, and father-in-law in prison. But when the palace was surrounded, Nitonon summoned Tinan and ordered her to take the palace and his family to a country far from the places where they cut off the heads of strong or wise people to punish them from helping the poor. Tinan went into the stone, and 3 old men came out. The first struck his pumpkin, and the palace rose into the air. The second struck his, and the palace rose to the clouds. The third did the same as the first 2, and the palace disappeared from view. What distant land had Nitonon chosen to make his home? Does he live on earth or in heaven? No one knows. But in the place where his palace was, there is now a swamp. In the spring, violets bloom there, and the place is called Nenmoy, the Marsh of Violets.